Hello, hello. Lilac, you ain't called Shelly yet? Can you try to do that later on? Can you call her later? I always knock myself out alive. I don't know how I do that. Who's Don? Who's Don? What's Don? What does that mean? Am I crazy? Well, she needs a friend. She don't really have any around. Just her and her mom there. And I figured you two have a lot in common. And actually, you're really good with advice. And I thought maybe you would be helpful. I'm going to erase that. I'm going to, damn it. Damn it. I tell you what, this damn thing. There. Yeah. I'll explain. Because I told her how kind you are and how understanding you are, but how smart you are too. So I really think that coming from a different place other than me, that you could definitely give a good perspective on a lot of things. And and she's in Florida too. You're only like an hour or two from her. So I thought, you know what? It's a really nice opportunity for both of you, really. Yeah. Thank you. Everybody's doing great so far. Fingers crossed. Right, Lilac? Wish I had enough. I don't have enough time to do anything, really. I try. I try, but I don't succeed very well. There are so many people that are still waiting for me to reach out and just say, hi, how you doing? And I'm like, ugh, I'm tired. That's how I'm doing. I'm tired. So, anyway, I'm waiting for everybody else to come back in. I told him a couple minutes, but I had a phone call in between, as usual. So it took me a minute to come back on live since I was just on and did, a couple questions and stuff for everybody. Not old at all. Shelly is 62 or 60. I think she's 62 or 64. I forget. Shelly's like 62. She don't look it. Just like you. She don't look it. Shelly doesn't look it at all. She's beautiful. And she's like you. She don't have to wear no makeup. She's beautiful, just like you. But I forget her age. I think she said 62 or 64. I forget. So we're all in the same area, 58, 59, 62, 64. Bingo shit. Lindsay, what does DON mean with the flower? What does that mean, honey? I'm confused with that. Is that don't forget? Oh, I see it. Donations. I was like, what? Okay. I see it now. All right. Can't move it. Okay, I did now. Yeah. Lindsay. I don't know where everybody's at. Nobody's getting the messages or notifications. I mean, uh, hi, Cranky. Anything yet, Cranky? Should be coming soon. Would you send it through email? Did you email it, Cranky? Hi, Teresa. I'm glad you found me. I'm sorry, I had a phone call in between as usual. Um, I had to give a reference for somebody, so. Uh, oh, Facebook Messenger. Good, good. Don't be nervous. Go ahead and look while we're on here to support you. Go look. See if he did anything. You should be able to tell if he read it. I want to talk about the journey. Not everybody's specific journey, but the journey. A collective, so to speak, requested by Teresa. Spirit will just chime in. Give me the words to speak. Are you going to Johannesburg? You are going to go, Lindsay? Spirit did say you were going to go. Okay, Cranky, I'm waiting. You're welcome, Teresa. So if you come in the room, please hit the like button. Teresa, you hit that like button, didn't you? Somebody else must have came in and didn't hit it. I can't wait for Cranky to come back on and tell me if he responded yet. Do I think he did? I feel like he saw it. I do feel like he saw it. Hi, Payman. I thought so, Lindsay, but I don't feel like you'll be there long. I don't feel like you'll be there long. Nope. Are they going to pay you well? Are they going to pay you well, Lindsay? Absolutely, Lindsay. Plus, you're at that age too, Lindsay, where you might want to be out on your own and not live at home anymore. You might just want to do that. So maybe this job will help you to make money so that you can do what you want to do and be where you want to be. It's just okay. Thank you, Teresa. I like you too. Your friend didn't stick around too long. What happened? Where'd she go? She left? East London. Yeah. All right. If nobody's going to else come in, then we're just going to have to start having our talk and they're going to have to catch up. All right. So nonetheless, everybody has seen the title of this video. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. She makes cookies. I forgot. Exactly, Lindsay. Right now, talking about the title of this video, why is it that the journey that you planned or expected to be on right now in your situation, in your circumstances, in your life's journey here, that's where you're at, why is it so different than what you actually planned? A lot of you are, um, a lot of you are definitely experiencing some things on your journey that may feel difficult or challenging, may feel like they're unexpected, unplanned, unwanted, even. There might be parts of your journey that you're on, meaning what's going on in your current situation, your current life, that are pleasing and satisfying, gratifying. But at the same time, depending on your perspective, on how you look at things, whether it's negative or positive, The negative side of it are milestones, right? The negative things sometimes that we have to do are struggles. Payment, I'm sorry, I'm right in the middle of a message here, okay? Hold your comments, please. So, right now, the negative side of it are milestones. And with the milestones, that means challenges, right? But it's also a time where we can learn more about who we are. Initially, again, our perception may be quite difficult or a struggle to accept what's in front of us. Sometimes we don't like the plans that are made for us or just the road that is laid out in front of us. Thank you, Payman. Yeah, just one moment. And this journey, this lesson, because remember, we're all here to learn these lessons. And sometimes we think that we're here to make $1 million, or we think we're here to whatever. That's not the purpose. That's not the reason. Being your authentic self, showing everybody who you are, what your beliefs are, what you have to give and offer, not of monetary value, but within yourself. Also accepting and loving others without judgment. But a lot of you, again, your journey may not be what you planned. Maybe you wished it was about love, marriage, babies, etc., right? For some of us, especially when you're at a certain age, when you hit between 25 and 60, even 70, hell, even 80. I know people in their 80s that are out dating, but we already have this pre mindset that this is where we should be. This is we're supposed to do. We're supposed to follow so-called the pattern, right? That's expected of us, so we think. We all believe that, okay, by a certain age after high school, we should went to college and we should be married and this should happen. I should have 2.5 kids according to the statistics, and I should have a house and then 2 cars and 1 dog. And you got to remember that your plan and God's plan for you, the universe's plan, is not always is not always what you think or believe. You have to also realize too, I'm sorry, I'm in the dark at the moment. I'm moving. You have to realize too that if everything was to fall in order of the way you expected it to, in the patterns that you thought it should be, you wouldn't have learned as much on your journey. You wouldn't be able to do the things that you can do. You wouldn't have gone through so many different challenges, hard times, heartbreaks, job changes, location changes, house changes, and then the people around you changed. I'm sure for many of you, you're not around the same group of friends that you were when you were 12 versus the ones when you were 17 versus the ones when you were 25. Maybe fortunate, if some of you are fortunate enough, maybe you still have that same best friend from a long time ago. And perhaps you're hoping to keep that friendship going on and going on forever and ever. But there are changes that'll take place unexpectedly and expected. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be uphill battles. There's going to be days when everything just goes perfectly smooth, like everything's going your way. You're like, what did I do to deserve this great stuff? All that's going to happen. Sometimes unanswered prayers are the best answers. Because sometimes what we believe is what we need and what we want and what we desire and what we should have. The universe sees it in another way, like, no, not yet. It's not for you yet. Sometimes you wonder why that person isn't in your life or why that person did what they did. And the person that you planned on keeping forever right next to you chose to walk away. Why? Why did we go through that? A lot of you can ask, what, did God want me to suffer? Why does God want me to suffer? Why didn't he want this person to stay with me? Why didn't he want me to be happy? It wasn't about that. It was never about that. Perhaps, maybe that was for your destiny, but it definitely was not their destiny. They weren't meant to have you forever. They were only a season for you. So for a lot of you, this could be a struggle and a challenge, true, but it's also somehow, some way, not happening to you, but for you. So a lot of you, I need you to realize that a lot of things that happen in life are not to you, but for you. Sometimes we don't realize until later. Wow, I'm glad that didn't work out. Wow, I'm glad I didn't keep putting up with that bullshit. Well, I'm glad I didn't deal with that liar, manipulator, cheater. I'm glad I just decided to walk away because again, when you remove the toxicity from your life and you allow something better to come in. For a lot of you, um, let's see. It's now perhaps when you're not in a relationship, you're not in a commitment, you're not married, you're single. Perhaps now's the moment that it's about you. Maybe it's really about you. Maybe it's where you're being tested or challenged. Maybe it's time for you to become your own miracle. A lot of you are very much capable of creating your own happiness, creating your own finances, giving yourself the love that you used to always give to other people. And now you can give that to yourself. For some of you, you might be being tested, like I said, or challenged just to be your own miracle right now. It's kind of like where you don't depend on another human being to fix or change your circumstances that you're in. Maybe it's time that you do something to change the circumstances, to change the outcomes. Choices and decisions can do that. Right now, it might be time for you to heal. And by healing, you rebuild. You rebuild and you become a stronger version of yourself. It's like it's time to fill your tank back up. For some of you, everything that you gave away to another person or another person took from you, it's time to replenish all that back to yourself. Otherwise, when you do meet this next person, you can't meet them with an empty cup. You need to meet them with all the regrets and all the sadness and all the heartbreak and all the disappointments and all the things that didn't work out. You need to leave them in the storage bin in the back. Lock it. Don't let that come out. Be that brand new version by the time this new person comes around. Nobody wants to walk into a situation where you're like, oh, I'm the victim, and oh, I went through so much, and oh, you don't know what they did to me, and I'm so glad to start dating somebody new because I've been through it. You don't go buy a house that needs all this repairing unless you're just going to fix it to sell it. But if you're investing in it to make it a home for yourself, you want to at least go in with a stable roof and a stable foundation. So in other words, you have to make yourself delightful. In other words, make yourself to the point where someone does want to get to know you better because they find you interesting and creative and funny and happy and always thinking positive. Not the person who truthfully was hurt, maybe beaten, abused, mentally, physically, emotionally, all the above. Nobody's saying that you didn't go through that. And yes, you survived it. So instead of focusing on what happened, focus on the results that you created. You survived it. You got out of that hole. You got out of that debt. You got out of that marriage. You got out of that relationship. You got out of that job, whatever the case may be. Look how great you've done. You've gotten yourself up out of a place. Maybe, yes, you created for yourself. Maybe you didn't want to see the red flags that were there. Maybe you just chose to try to stay in it. Maybe you wanted to pretend that things weren't happening when they were. True. But it's more important to let that shit go. Because when you harbor pain and heartbreak and sadness, you also harbor diseases and inflammation and cortisol, extreme high cortisol. All these things. There's no questions here, Miss Daisy. Please read the title. All these things are symptoms of what you've been through. Like I said, finally you're at the point where you're going to accept, understand, and realize where you've been and where you're going. Finally, you're at the point where you can let go of the toxic people, the toxic places, the toxic addictions, habits. 2024 is coming up right around the corner. So if you're interested in living differently, living better, if you're interested in being happier, maybe being richer, whatever it is that you're interested in doing, make the choices and decisions that are going to get you to that goal. So if you're working a full-time job and you need a part-time job so that you can put extra money away to get a bigger bank account, to have a bigger savings, a bigger nest egg, a bigger sense of security, then maybe for temporary, you do need to work an additional job. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. For some of you, you might need to cut back on some of your spending. Perhaps you're spending more than you're making. Perhaps some of you are credit card hungry and just charging it everywhere you go. And now you've got all this debt and you're panicking. Perhaps work on consolidating your debt together and getting that bill paid off, not using any more cards, keeping one card for an emergency, period, and don't touch it unless it is that. There's so many different things that you can do. Where love is concerned, some of you may be into online dating. Some of you may just be interested in having somebody to write to talk to, a pen pal. Some of you just enjoy scrolling on your social media and meeting people there. Some of you enjoy, like I do, just watching readings or watching the ocean or whatever your thing is. Just do what makes you happy. Because the truth of the matter is that you're not promised tomorrow. So why leave today being sad and disappointed, feeling alone? You're not alone. I bet you in your phone and in the contacts, you have a whole bunch of numbers. There is definitely somebody who you can call. Not most of us do have a neighbor that may be elderly that we can reach out to. Say, hey, you know what? Can I make you dinner tonight? How would you like to have dinner with me? Or maybe just bring them over a cake. Surprise them with something. Do something out of the blue, out of kindness of your heart. Or just maybe even draw something for somebody. Send it to them. Go to the dollar store. Well, it's $1.25 now, right? Go to the $1.25 store and buy a card. I think there are cards that they sell there are so cheap. For $1.25, you can get a card. Send somebody a Christmas card. You know what's always fun to do? Sometimes me and my grandson, we buy a whole box of Christmas cards. And we would just make up addresses. Like we know the names of streets. So we just make up names of addresses. And we would just send Christmas cards out to people, to their address. And we'd write to Mr. and Mrs. Or we'd write to family and just write a fake address that was a real address, but we didn't know who they were. And we didn't sign it. We just wished them many blessings. There's so many things you can do. You can make a whole bunch of them up and go to your local nursing home. Call the nursing home and say, how many residents do you hold or have? Because we'd like to bring in Christmas cards for each one of your residents. How amazing would that be? I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it would brighten up somebody's day. Now you have to be careful handing out chocolates and stuff because you don't know if somebody's a diabetic or what the case may be. But you can always grab a little stocking. You can put a little pad and pencil in there, or paper and sticky note, or there's so many things you could buy at the dollar store that you could put in there that would just make their day. Something small, a little postcard or a little trinket or a little something. There's a ton of things you could choose. So why not do something amazing, and that will make you feel amazing. So the whole point is the journey that you're on may not be exactly where you want to be. It may be nothing like the journey you thought you'd be on by this age, at this time. Maybe even at your job, you're not in the position you thought you would be after all this time, after all that effort. Be patient. Talk to the right people. Let them know that you're interested in a different position. Let them know you want to know what it is that you can do, or trainings that you can do, or certifications that you can get in order to step up. Whatever it is that makes you show them who you are, that's the best thing to do. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what your degree is. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care what kind of car you drive. The only thing that matters is the person that you're showing me or anyone who you are. Show them that you come from your heart. Show them that you're here to give, not to take. Show them that you want to spread acceptance, joy, that diversity is a beautiful thing. Too many people judge and put expectations on so many people. But accepting people for who they are, then you get to decide whether you can deal with that all the time or you can't. And it doesn't make you a bad person if you cannot deal or want to be involved with somebody who you feel, well, they're not going to change, but the way they are, I just can't accept that, meaning I don't want it in my life. It doesn't mean that they're not a good person. It just means they're not right for you. And it's okay if they're not right for you. Let them go be right for the person they are right for. So the whole point is love yourself and love everybody else without judgment. A lot of times we could walk around and we could see somebody that looks like they don't have a pot to piss in, look like they ain't had a bath in 7 days, 12 days, maybe 30 days, maybe 5 months. Somebody might have an odor about them. They might be wearing ripped shoes. They might have stains on their coat. Just pray for that person. They're struggling. They've gone through something. Perhaps they have mental illness. Perhaps they're just homeless. Perhaps something made them decide to quit or give up. But don't judge them. Instead, try to help them. Ask them, is there anything I can do? Can I buy you a hot coffee, hot chocolate, hot cocoa, something? Could I get you a sandwich? Could I help you find a shelter close by? Whatever you can do. If everybody would just try a little bit harder to be a little bit kinder, and instead of looking at somebody and shaking your head like they're not good enough, we've all had that, right? We've all had somebody make us feel at one way or another, at one time or another. Either at your job, you didn't feel like you did a good enough job. In your relationship, maybe as a child, maybe your parents didn't never feel like you were good enough. Whatever the case may be, don't allow yourself to make anybody feel not good enough. Kindness goes a million miles away. But instead of focusing on just the moon, there's a whole sky full of stars, 1,000,000 stars. So broaden your perspective, your horizons. Look wider, look further, try harder. And even more importantly, try harder to love yourself. Try harder to tell yourself and listen to yourself that you're worth it and that you're amazing and that there's nothing that you can't do. You have to be your biggest cheerleader, not your biggest opposition. A lot of you beat yourself up more than any other relationship ever has. A lot of you put yourself down more than anybody else ever has. A lot of you truly just need to look in the mirror and know that you are wonderfully, wonderfully made. God doesn't make mistakes. You're exactly who you are. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Right now. Whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, it's where you're supposed to be. So find that silver lining in anything and everything that you're going through. Find that silver lining. Like, yeah, I'm home by myself, but the silver lining is I don't have anybody screaming at me. I don't have anybody yelling at me. I don't have nobody hitting me. I don't have nobody telling me I can't watch this show. So there's so many things. Yes. Yes, Teresa. Exactly. Nobody can rob you of your joy, your happiness, or your kindness unless you let them. Exactly, Lindsay. Yeah, Lindsay. A smile can change somebody's whole day. A compliment can change somebody's whole day. So I wanted to make sure I came on here and let you guys know something. Thank you, Teresa, for inspiring me. But just know that this journey that you're on, it may not be as much as you think against you, but it may be actually for you. Maybe you don't know why you're at where you are right now. Maybe you don't know why you're going through what you're going through right now. Maybe you're not supposed to know. But I promise you, sooner or later, life's going to show you exactly where you are, exactly why you're there. And from that point on, you're going to be in a much better place. All right, sending all my love to you guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm going to go make Button something to eat because it's almost 5 o'clock here, quarter of. And I will catch up with you soon. So for now, stay safe, stay warm. And remember to not only love yourself, but spread that love, spread the kindness, spread the joy. And know that this too shall pass. Whatever it is you're going through, whatever it is you're worried about, God's plans will work out perfectly in God's timing, not yours. So we just have to be patient and work on blind faith for right now. All right. Namaste. God bless. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Love you all. Come on, Bubbas. I gotta take my Bubba.